Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for showing up. I'm excited to be here. If everyone can hear me, can you just drop a one in the chat? Hey Debbie. Hi, hi, hi. Yay. So I'm super excited to get started. Um, for those of you who are here, how many of you are business owners, entrepreneurs? Drop in the chat what you do. You could be working for other people. You could be a student. What do you do? AI consultants. Hey, Michelle. I just want to gauge what your LinkedIn life should be like. So I'm trying to gauge, are you professional or you a business owner? What's the deal? Okay, cloud engineer. Hello, another woman in technology. Yay. Business owner, independent contractor, contract grant writer. Okay, so let's get started. I am excited to be here. And I just want to briefly tell my story. So I had been working in corporate America. I grew up in technology. Technology is my happy place. And I started a business. And when I started a business, I started this habit of waking up in the middle of the night, thinking of all the things I didn't get done, completely overwhelmed when I woke up in the morning, and going to sleep just like defeated with all the things. And one morning, my phone vibrated in the middle of the night, and I happened to be up at like 4 in the morning. And I saw this. I knew when my phone vibrated, it was the bank telling me something was a problem. I also had alerts set up to let me know when things were deposited, but it was more a problem than things being deposited. So this was my norm. And I took a screenshot of the phone. And I don't know why I thought to take a screenshot of the phone. I realized that this was a moment that I never wanted to forget. But more importantly, I never wanted to repeat. So this was my business bank account and my personal bank account. This is not Photoshop. This is like actually a screenshot from my phone. And it didn't make sense to me because in my mind, I was doing all the wrong things. I was doing all the right things. I was doing marketing. I was going to events. I was talking to all the right people that I thought I was supposed to talk to. Yet my life was not what I imagined. I felt like I was overworked. I felt like I was burned out. I stopped taking care of myself. So I stopped going to the gym and I just started saying no to a lot of things. And even when I said yes, I wasn't present because I was thinking about all the things that I had to do. And there was a lot of guilt and there was a lot of shame. And this is not what I imagined when I went into business. And what was going on was I was on this like roller coaster of trying to figure out what my perfect spot was and what I was doing and the value that I had, and also trying to figure out how to generate revenue at the same time. Also, not realizing that there's a lot of self talk that happens, and there's a lot of who's going to pay you to do this? And do you really think you can charge that? All of that goes on when we don't even realize it. So I was on this up and down roller coaster that was just exhausting. And I realized that I didn't have consistent revenue because I didn't have good referrals. And I didn't have consistent referrals. I was relying on referrals and word of mouth. I didn't have leads. I didn't have anything consistent. So if a lead came in, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." But no business came in regularly. And the other thing was I wasn't leveraging LinkedIn at all. So everybody else was like, "Oh, you have to do Facebook and you have to do this and you have to do all these things." And all those things were great for them, but wasn't working for me. It felt like a lot. Energetically, I was like, "I don't want to be doing this." And I still did it. And then when it didn't work, I was like, "I don't know why it doesn't work." So I just started to get to LinkedIn. I've had a LinkedIn profile forever. How many of you have a LinkedIn profile? So you just drop yes or y in the comments if you have a LinkedIn profile. So a lot of us have a LinkedIn profile. The challenge is, what do we do with it? Because I thought that you had to show up on LinkedIn like in a three-piece suit and pantyhose. I thought it was only for professionals. I thought you could only be the most professional, best version of yourself. And what's happening is that is not the case. And I just didn't know how to show up. So, what I'm going to share with you is what we found is working and how you can leverage it for yourself no matter what you do. So, my name is Bethany Nonami, and I spent my entire career in technology. And most of that time I spent selling for corporations, to business owners, to other corporations. And I run an award-winning sales training practice. And I'm also an AI certified consultant from Alicia and Loret's group. So there's probably a ton of you guys in here as well. And I love to talk about anything that has to do with sales and AI. And I wholeheartedly know for a fact that I've seen hundreds of businesses that we've worked with that have used LinkedIn to generate inbound leads. They have used LinkedIn to get recruiters and HR people from their dream companies to call them. So LinkedIn is a vehicle for you to brand yourself regardless whether you're an employee, whether you're thinking about doing something on the side, or whether you have a full business. LinkedIn values the person more than a business, more than a company, more than a cause. So it is important for you, regardless of where you are in your life right now. If you're working for someone, you should still have a strong LinkedIn profile. You should still be very clear on the value that you have and the expertise that you bring to your market, to your employer. So LinkedIn is not just a place that people go to search for professionally relevant content. It's where you can brand yourself. We were talking to someone the other day, and she's a network engineer for a company called Cisco. So Cisco used to do a bunch of phone systems and all the equipment that go with phone systems. And she was traveling and on a new team, a brand new team. And she talks about her job like she is the definition of a telecom engineer, nerdy nerd person. And she loves it. So she's like, oh my gosh, we were doing this and we did this. And she just shows up and talks about her job. She got a new position, moved to a new city, and was told that her job was being cut. And she had 3 months to find something else. She could try and find something else in Cisco, but they didn't have a place for her. And they didn't have a place for her in the brand new city that she just moved to for this brand new role. So she used LinkedIn and went from 300 connections to over 30,000 followers by just talking about what she does, which is nerdy telecom stuff. And when she couldn't announce that she was being let go, but her goal was to build up her own network with her dream companies, with the people that would be her managers, so that when this time came, she could make an announcement on LinkedIn that she was on the market. She did that, and she got 11 calls within an hour saying, hey, we'd love to talk to you. Not a lot of people brand themselves when they're employees. So let's talk about what the opportunity is on LinkedIn. So let me just drop in the chat how many people you think there are on LinkedIn that are senior level decision makers, buyers, or people that can hire you. How many people? Millions. It's in the millions. How many people do you think are on LinkedIn that can hire someone or can make a decision? 50 million. Some of you guys know this. 120, 50. Yes. So there are 90 million senior level decision makers on LinkedIn. Not all of those people are posting, are showing up, are commenting, but you better believe that they're looking, that they're searching, that they're trying to find you. If you're a business owner, 60 million of those people can cut you a check. Means they don't have to talk to anybody else. That's not business owners. We're not talking about business owners. We're talking about people in the corporate world that can make a decision. Now, here's the interesting thing. What percentage of people do you think go to LinkedIn first when they're looking for someone to hire? That could be a consultant, that could be a trainer, that could be an employee. What percentage of people do you think go to LinkedIn first? Meaning they're not going to job boards, they're not going to Google, they're not asking their network. Excuse me. They go to LinkedIn first. And then corporate executives rank LinkedIn as the #1 source for professionally relevant content. 86% of people go to LinkedIn first. So before, 10 years ago, they would go to Google, or they would go to a job board, or they would go to a recruiter. They're not going through those regular channels anymore. They're going to LinkedIn. So where a website or Google used to be the first place that people went, now the first place is LinkedIn. And then 91% of executives rank LinkedIn as the number one source for professionally relevant content. And that also applies to people that are looking for talent. So imagine if you're looking for a title that's called network engineer, and you find 1,000 network engineers, but you know who comes up to the top? The one that always posts, the one that talks about her job, the one that's talking about the project that she just wrapped up. That is proof that you know what you say you know. And so many people think it has to be perfect and you have to show up a certain way. But because of COVID, you can be out walking your dog and shoot a video and say, I just got off the phone with the client and they said this. And this is the mistake that a lot of people make. So make sure when you're hiring a person, when you're hiring a contractor, when you're hiring a business, that you ask these questions. Walking a dog outside. You don't have to be super professional. It doesn't have to have captions and all these fancy things. You just have to show how you think. A lot of people get caught up and they're like, well, should I say this and say this? No, you should say what you know, because your unique perspective is what is going to land the job, what is going to land the contract. Only you have your perspective. So I want you to just understand that there are tons of people on LinkedIn that go there first. So there are 1 billion people on LinkedIn, 1 billion, not all at one time, but they've hit 1 billion users. But they have a massive problem. Because of the people that are on LinkedIn, they need to feed 10 billion pieces of content in the feed per day. They don't have enough organic content. LinkedIn is the only platform that I know that is a social media platform that has very high level people. Now, Facebook, it's a mix. Instagram, it's a mix. TikTok, who knows who's on TikTok? Facebook and LinkedIn, though, you have executives, you have 30% of the people that are on LinkedIn are decision makers, HR buyers, managers and above are beyond 30%. So those people are the people that are on LinkedIn all day long. Now they're in and out. It's open while they're working, but LinkedIn doesn't have enough content to give the people that are on LinkedIn. So what happens is they show ads, a lot of ads. LinkedIn took date stamps off of content last year because they didn't have enough organic content. They had a lot of ads, but they didn't have enough organic content. So right now, 0.004% show up more than once a week to post content on LinkedIn. That's not even a quarter of 1%. So out of 1 billion people, only 3 million show up once a week. Now, we say millions and we say billions, but let me help you put this in perspective. 1 million, if we count 1 million in seconds, 1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 million seconds counts up to 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years, 31.7 years. There are 31.7 years worth of people on LinkedIn, but only 33 days worth of people posting. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm sure I just butchered it. I had a vision of how it was going to land. Does that make sense? I'm so sorry. So 1 billion, 11 days in seconds, a million, 11 days in seconds, 1 billion, 31.7 years. There's 31.7 years of people on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn does not have enough content. So I don't care what your specialty is. I don't care what your job is. I don't care what your education is. I don't care what your business is. You can lead as the person that talks about that the best on LinkedIn. And people are looking for you. And guess what? They're not finding people. They're finding a field of but not great people. And here's the thing. You don't even have to be great. You just have to be good. So start before you're ready, which is now. And here's how you become a thought leader. Show up as the position you want, at the company you want, as the business you want to be, not who you are right now, not where you are right now. So if I am pivoting and say I sell to small business owners and now I'm going to sell to corporations, I'm not going to show up and say, when I start selling to corporations, I'm going to do this and this and this. You say, no, in our work, when we work with people like corporations, we do this and this and this. If you're working on the professional side and you say, hey, I was just working on a project and we realized this and this and this. People often value your knowledge and your mistakes. So one thing people are afraid to do, but it's the content that does the best, are struggles. If you can show up with your personal struggle and you do it in a way that ties back to your business, your value, your expertise, that content does amazing on LinkedIn. So don't say, I can only show up at the best version of myself. Show up and say, this is what I learned. These are the mistakes I made. But you know what? Because of that, now we have a process. Because of that, now I check this before I always do that. And it's made me better. Okay, so some of the things that you have to do, you have to optimize your profile. The things that you need to optimize on your profile are your banner. This is the thing that goes across the long top. If yours is like gray and blue, it's not done. It's not optimized. And then your featured section should be the best thinking that you have. So if you're a business owner, that might be a lead magnet. It might be a newsletter sign up. And guess what? You can be an employee and start a newsletter that talks about what you do. And people just sign up for it. There's no fee. You don't have to set up emails. You don't have to worry about like, how am I going to send them a message? If you start a newsletter that shows your best thinking, then they're starting to get to know you without ever getting to know you. So you're not reaching out to them. They're just like, oh, this is really good. I might share this with my team. Oh, I might send this to my manager. So now you're getting visibility in places that you don't even know. So your banner and your headline and your headshot. This is your first impression on LinkedIn. This is the first 3 to 5 seconds that people see you. So just like your mother may have said, you don't get a second chance at his first impression. This is your first impression. Your banner, your headshot, your bio, your headline. So that's super important that you need to optimize. The other thing is look at LinkedIn as an opportunity for you to build trust and credibility. That is the goal. They don't have to know you. They don't have to like you. They just have to trust that you know what you say you know and that they can bring you in, that they can hire you, that they can hire your company to fulfill something. The goal is to build trust and credibility. And you can build trust and credibility in your mistakes and in your lessons. So don't be afraid to do that because you're worried about how you're going to look. You're right, Corinne. It humanizes you. It says, I'm not perfect. You still show your wins. You still show off. You still brag when you do something amazing. But there's 3 little areas of funnel of content that you can work on. Top of funnel, education, awareness, personal stories, struggles, mistakes, lessons. This is what I learned. Middle of the funnel, lead magnets, case studies, industry data. If you solve a problem, you should also talk about any industry data. So I do a lot with AI, and then Harvard Business Review came out with this, and it's like how organizations can transform AI. So this is third-party proof. This is industry data that this is a thing that people need to think about, not just Bethany saying, oh, you guys really need to look at AI. And they're like, okay, Bethany, whatevs. And then the bottom of the funnel is how you think. This is how I do this. This is how I do that. And it doesn't have to be a lot. You can map out 5 things that you're really good at, and you just talk about one. And you don't need to talk a lot. You can talk for 60 seconds in a video, and that's good enough. But you're starting to give people a glimpse of how you think. That is the most powerful content that you can post on LinkedIn. because they do a couple of things. They're like, oh, I totally didn't see it that way. I don't think about things that way. Oh, okay. Yeah, we probably need to call her. So the content gold mine is really the middle of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel. The top of the funnel, the education, the personal stories, that's still valid, but it doesn't convert into meaningful conversations. There's also the way that you can create what is viral on LinkedIn. Viral on LinkedIn is just a lot of comments and a lot of reactions. You don't get a million views of anything on LinkedIn. There's no such thing as that on LinkedIn. How I count viral is people connect with me that are my buyers, people connect with me that may hire me, companies connect with me that I may want to work at. Whatever your goal is for LinkedIn, if you create a piece of content and multiple things happen from that goal, that's viral. Vanity metrics are, oh, I got 2,300 likes. Oh, I got 10,000 comments. That's a lot for Josh. So Josh did this and he highlighted a company that was Stripe, which is a payment processor. And a lot of his buyers admire Stripe. And a lot of his buyers want to be like Stripe. So he's never worked with Stripe. He just did a case study on Stripe. So you can do case studies and do things that show your expertise in how you think. And that is incredibly valuable to your audience or who you're trying to attract. So here are some of the challenges and opportunities that you have. When I talk to most people and I ask them what they want, they're like time, peace, or freedom. If they're on the business side and even on the corporate side, they're still like, stability. I want to be able to grow. And some businesses want to be able to scale. And I wholeheartedly believe that if you have money and you have resources, you can get whatever support you need in your life and in your business. So whether you're in a job and you're not making what you should be, if you made more money, you could probably get a sitter. You could probably help more with your parents. You could probably get in a decent place or something like that. So I still think that money is a great neutralizer. Now, here's the problem that I see people struggle with. They don't know how to position themselves. They don't know how to make offers. And they don't know how to pitch themselves, especially to people that they do not know. They also don't have access to their buyers, or they don't have visibility to the right people. So they're struggling with getting in front of, how do I get in front of the HR people? There's a 50 gazillion people on LinkedIn that are HR. Like LinkedIn started as a recruiting platform and as like a professional network. But what LinkedIn's turned into is a 24/7 networking event with any type of person that you want to network with. So right now, you may say, I want to be in healthcare. So you might be looking for HR leaders in healthcare. Well, then you might start to talk to healthcare and you're like, this sounds hard and nobody's happy. So never mind. X the healthcare. I want to go into retail. Guess what? You can do that on LinkedIn because you can find anybody by any industry that works at any brand just by doing a search. So if you change your mind, it's fine. You can do that. And then sometimes people don't know what to do or what to say. So let's talk about how you can overcome that. So we have this 3C framework, which is credibility, clarity, and confidence. If you don't build up credibility, nobody's going to hire you. Nobody's going to hire you as a business or as an employee. If you don't have clarity on your value, what you're worth, and what the market would pay for you, then you could lose money and you could lose the opportunities that really would put you in a certain position. And if you don't have confidence, and confidence also comes when you have clarity, and it also comes when you feel credible, then you can just struggle in this area. So all three of these things can be solved through LinkedIn. So let me show you how. Content, connections, and conversations. So with content, you can establish trust and credibility, and you can see what leads to meaningful conversations and what doesn't. You also connect with any buyer, any decision maker, any influencer, mentor, whoever you want to connect with. They're accessible on LinkedIn. It doesn't mean they will respond, but you can get to them. And then having conversations. The faster you can have conversations with the person that you need for the thing. I need to find some people because I want to be on boards. I need to find some mentors because I feel like I'm stuck. I need to find my next client because I need revenue. You can have conversations with as many people as you want to in a day. And the more conversations you have, the more likely you are to get to the goal. Is it uncomfortable? 100%. Can you do it? Absolutely. Anybody can do it. It's a skill. All of these things are a skill. But here's the thing. If you are average at these three things, you are winning on LinkedIn. A lot of people will say, I'm going to get really good at content. And they do that, but then they don't know how to connect to people. And then when they connect with them, they don't know how to have conversations. So you don't have to be great at any of these. You just have to be good-ish, and you will be better than everyone else. Yes, absolutely. All these skills can be learned. All right. So we're going to open it. Before I wrap up, we don't have a lot of time and we've got to end a little bit early today. So I just want to see if you guys can scan this QR code. I am going to upload the slides on this page. I don't think my team has done it yet. We just wrapped up a couple things with the slides that we added. So if you scan this QR code, I would love to get your feedback on. I know it was a short amount of time. I know it was a lot in a little bit of time, but I'd love to get your feedback on what we could do better. And then this link, what? Hold on. Link's not working. Hold on, let me drop you. Thank you. I don't know. Yeah, apparently the link's not working. Technology, always. Every day makes me look like a fool. It's not just you. It's me too. Hey, Nilda. You know what? Sometimes it doesn't work. Well, I don't know what doesn't work. Never mind. I don't know why it doesn't work. Weird. It works for some people. It doesn't work for other people. Okay, so it's not super hard questions. If you provide, I know. If you provide your email address, then you will get an email. I don't have a newsletter, so you're not really going to get a lot of emails from me, but you will get an email that'll give you the website so you can get to the slide. So if you're mobile or if you're like in the car, please don't scan this. Like just reach out to Daydream. We'll make sure you get the link so you can get the slides. But if you'll get an email that gives you a link to the slides. Okay, so recommendations on how often to post. Post at least twice a week. If you cannot post twice a week, then post one really good piece of content once a week and repost it. Okay. Thank you, Dadrian. So remember, less than 3 million people post once a week. Just to be better than them, you can just post twice. If you don't have the bandwidth, I would rather you post a really good piece of something once a week than posting 2 okay pieces just because we said do it twice a week. Again, do a good piece of something once a week. And I would do it Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Test it though, because I've tested different days. And ironically, Sunday night is like a really busy time when a lot of my people that I want to connect with are on LinkedIn. I get a lot of connection requests on LinkedIn. On Sunday, I get people that engage with content on Sunday. So just because the average day for the person is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday doesn't mean that has to be the day for you. Okay? So figure out, weekends can be great for LinkedIn, especially if you're dealing with corporations and high level people. So if you're dealing with VPs, SVPs, AVPs, directors, they might not have time to be on LinkedIn during the week. So they might be on the weekend just scrolling through things and just browsing through things. So test different days. LinkedIn analytics are not the best. There are tools that you can use that help with LinkedIn analytics, but generic LinkedIn analytics don't give you a lot of insight. And it's tough because people typically don't engage. Decision makers often don't engage. They're on there and they're lurking, but they don't engage. And if they have nothing to see on your profile, they have no way to get to know you. Okay, so real quickly before we hop into questions, if anyone wants support with LinkedIn and implementing the 3C process, oh my gosh, Brooks, yes, you can use it for LinkedIn. There's so many great things you can do for your business on LinkedIn. If you want support, we are opening a LinkedIn Success Accelerator. So my business typically helps people. We've worked with people to help them close over $30 million in contracts, and we use LinkedIn as a way to generate inbound leads. We also have people that we've worked with that are trying to improve their personal brand and to make sure that if they ever need to make a career move, they have options and their LinkedIn profile is accessible and attracts the right people. So in the next 6 weeks, we're going to have 6 live calls. We will start early April. We'll have 6 live calls showing you how to optimize your buyers, optimize your profile, find your buyers, find the people you want to connect with, make your offers. And your offer, if you're a professional, could be, this is what we do. This is how I work. I'd love to connect with other people that are struggling with this challenge, that are trying to get this outcome. So it doesn't have to be limited to just business owners or entrepreneurs. This could also be implemented for those of you that are in the workforce and you're like, you know what? It never hurts to have a strong network. There's a saying that says the value of your net worth, no, your network is your net worth. So if there's a lot of things going on right now, economically, climate, politically. So there's never a bad time to make sure you have a lot of connections of decision makers, HR people, companies you admire that you may want to work with in your profile. If they are your connections, you can message them as many times as you want to. You don't have to find their email. You don't have to find their corporate email, their personal email. They are your first connections and you can talk to them freely. So it gives you access if you need access. We'll also work with you on how you can make offers on LinkedIn and not sound salesy, build your network, how to build trust and authority, how to create content that converts and turns into whatever you want it to be. Hey, everyone. And while you're here, thank you, Corrine. If you can please post your LinkedIn profile, because there are 63 people on here. And if we all connect with each other, you just increased your network by 63 people. Okay. So, and then the other thing that we will talk to you about, and this is good for work and good for business, is how you can start selling in social. Social selling is basically having conversations with people and helping them get into your world. It's a skill. It's not comfortable for many of us because many of us think that of salespeople and we think of a used car dealership and we're like, oh, used cars. No, that's not what social selling is. Social selling is establishing a network and being with buyers, decision makers, HR leaders, managers, hiring people, and having them in your world and them just being vaguely familiar with you. And if you're interested and you want more help, my team can help. And we have the ability for you to VIP that and make sure that you can, we will optimize your profile for you. You still have access to the LinkedIn course, which is 50 modules. You still have the live action calls with me, but we'll optimize your profile. We will find your buyers and your decision makers and connect you with them automatically for 3 months. So we will do the heavy lifting for you. The only thing you have to do is show up and be you. Okay, so I'm going to open it up for questions about your LinkedIn profile, about all the things going on in LinkedIn. If you want support, we'd love to work with you and support you, but you should have enough to make sure that if you're looking at your profile, you're asking yourself, am I credible? Is what I do clear? And do I have confidence in the offer or what I'm saying I do? So if somebody reaches out, can I have a conversation with them and do I feel confident in that? Hey, Corrine. Oh, can you unmute? No, I can't unmute you. I can ask you to unmute, but it
Go
doesn't
ahead
let.
and unmute, Serene.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Bethany, thank you for this. I
Yes.
used to be on LinkedIn pretty often, but I was
Yeah.
like, I'm posting, I'm not getting anywhere. So I actually stopped. I
Oh,
think for the last 3 months, I probably posted maybe 5 pieces of content because I used to
yes.
post like 3 times per week. And I find it very strange. As you say, there are many lurkers on LinkedIn.
Yes.
I get next to no impressions, but then I get profile views. I will get like for every post, I'll get like three or more, and I like over the period, I'm like, even when I'm not posting, I'm getting profile views. So I'm like, what do I do with this?
So you could be getting profile views because of what's um in your headline. So a lot of times, so in your headline it should say the problem you solve or the outcome you deliver, but you only have 45 characters. You have 45 characters on mobile and there's 55 characters on desktop. So if you have keywords in your headline that's like author, speaker, coach, mentor, facilitator, life coach, then they could be seeing you from search in your profile views. If you have the regular LinkedIn and you're on the free version, all you see are profile views. If you get
Yeah.
Sales Navigator, you see the person that viewed your profile, and then you have an idea if this was a decision maker or if this is someone that you want to connect with, or are these people that are just finding you when they search? So you can't really do much with profile views unless you have Sales Navigator. We also use newsletters. So you can create a LinkedIn newsletter for free and go a little bit deeper on your topic. It's longer form than just content. And you can use that. And when you have newsletter subscribers or you do a LinkedIn live event, you can see the people. So you see the names of who subscribed or who joined the LinkedIn live, but you still don't see analytics. Like you don't know if they read the newsletter, you don't know if they joined the LinkedIn live. You just know they're interested in the things you talk about. So the content, if the
Yeah.
content doesn't result in anything, then it's just not landing. But a lot of people just show up because they're like, Bethany said, do 2 pieces of content. So I'm just going to show up and do 2 pieces of content. There's a strategic way to do content that converts into what you want. So um, you
I,
can use
I find my
AI to,
comments seem to be more impactful than my content.
yeah, and that's fine too. Yeah, that's absolutely fine too. Um, and there is one of the things that we also teach is how you can leverage other people's audience to comment. And there's a commenting strategy that sometimes people do to just get visibility to their connections, the buyers and the decision makers that they want to reach. Um, but you can also waste a lot of time. And there's a lot of things that you can do on LinkedIn
Mhm.
that just waste time and don't result in anything, which is why we get disheartened and we're like, LinkedIn is whack. I'm not doing anything on LinkedIn. So it's you just have to find the right mix, Kareen, and it's different for everybody. So what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for Patty, and what works for Michelle might not work for you. So you just have to figure out what works by experimenting, but you have to experiment enough with intentional content that's strategic in order for you to really make sure that you can align with the right people.
Thank you
Um,
very much. I'm gonna
okay,
get back on. Thank you.
you're welcome. You have to. And nobody knows, nobody is going to remember something you posted 3 weeks ago. And even when you have something that's viral, it's a 72-hour cycle. And then you have to recycle that viral post, whatever that was, that content. So um, it's a short-lived life with content on LinkedIn, which is why you just experiment. Short form video is doing well right now. So what we're seeing is a lot of people left TikTok or that got scared from TikTok shutting down for however many hours. They're on LinkedIn now. So the short form, like the vertical video like this, shooting on your phone this way, not horizontal like this. There's been a lot of content that does well on LinkedIn that's horizontal because there's so many people on desktop. But right now, LinkedIn is pushing their video feed, which is 60 seconds, vertical form, which means you can only talk about one problem. You can't talk about a whole bunch of problems. You can only talk about one thing at a time. So you can do that and then just test video, less than 60 seconds, shot vertically. And that is content that they're pushing in the feed more than ever. So that's the best content to experiment with right now. And it's not a heavy lift. You turn your phone on and you talk for less than 60 seconds. Okay, let me get to Patty's question. So Patty, Patty says she's in IT and real estate. How do you redirect both to your profile? You have to choose one that you want to have for incoming and choose the second one you do outbound. So if you are trying to find buyers that are commercial or residential buyers, you can talk about real estate and you can talk about all the things you do with real estate, but IT consulting, there might be more inbound generation from IT consultants than real estate. So you have to choose which one is your primary niche. And then if you want to reach out to people and say, hey, I didn't know we're connected. I saw you're in Atlanta or whatever city you're in. Let me know if you're looking for reliable real estate agents. Then this is my contact information. So your outbound would be the secondary niche, but your
Okay.
inbound would be the first niche. And IT is huge on LinkedIn, and there's a ton of buyers on LinkedIn that are IT. And I think that's probably, I don't know, but that could potentially scale faster. Where real estate, they buy a house, unless you're doing commercial or unless you're doing investments, then IT might be the better fit just because of the market that's on
That
LinkedIn.
makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Nilda, good is subjective. So Nilda said she gets 419 profile views, 178, 2,000 post impressions. It's relative to your network size, your industry. So good, there's no like good metric of what's good. If you're not getting inbound leads from your content, then it's not working. It's not working as well as it could be. So there are people that don't like doing content and they literally just have sales conversations with people. They just talk to people. One of our clients got to 1 million and he didn't even have a website. He had a Notion page. He didn't even have a website, and he closed people through WhatsApp chats. So he wouldn't even get on sales calls. Like, he is super like introvert. He doesn't have a profile picture. He does not post on LinkedIn. He just has conversations. And he closed thousands of deals doing that. Now he's got a low ticket. He's got like a $1,500 offer. But you have to do what's best for you, but you have to get good at all of those things. So you have to get good at talking to complete strangers and having conversations. It's just like a networking event. You have to get good at content, and you have to be very clear on what you're doing and what your value is, or what your market value is, or what your offer is, or what the things are. And if you don't know that, you test that on LinkedIn through content or through conversations. So you can use it as a testing bed, even though you're like, I'm afraid to test. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. They don't remember. Nobody remembers. So if you change your profile picture once a week for a year, I promise you, very little people will know that. They're not going to be like, wait, Nilda, last week your profile said this. Nobody has time. No one cares. So don't be worried about testing on LinkedIn until you figure out what is going to generate content, or what is going to, not content, what's going to generate leads, or what's going to generate interest from the person you want to get attention from, but you don't know. So if the goal is you want to get more speaking engagements and you're not showing up on LinkedIn speaking, then they don't know that you're trying to get speaking gigs. So then if you want to get speaking engagements, you should be doing LinkedIn lives like every week, talking about something, because that is there forever and that will give them time with you. The only way to build value with complete strangers is time and value. Or the only way to build trust and rapport is the amount of time that they spend with you and the amount of value you give them. If you're not showing up giving value, and if they can't spend any time with you because you don't show up on LinkedIn, then you're not going to build trust with the people that have no idea who you are. But you can 100% do that on LinkedIn if you just show up. And it should be terrible. The first time you launch something or you do something, you should look at it 3 months later and be like, oh my God, that's awful. If it's not awful, you waited too long. It should be cringeworthy. So cringeworthy is when you start. And most of you are probably not cringeworthy. You just feel like you are because you're your own worst critic. Did I miss questions? Hold on. Thank you.
Thanks, Bethany.
You're welcome. Oh, Jolene, you're in IT support and they taught you to use LinkedIn for connections. It does, like, we all need to have a strong network and we all need to have options. So we don't know what's going to happen with certain things. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but having a strong network, when you add value to someone, and if you come from a place of service, don't look at it like, oh, I have to sell myself and I have to be uncomfortable. You serve, you show up, you help, you serve. That there's nothing wrong with that. And then if they align with you and if they gel with you, then they reach out and they're like, hey, can you do this thing? Hey, would you be interested in this? Hey, I know you do this stuff over here. Are you looking for other opportunities? You could be working for someone and posting stuff on LinkedIn and somebody's like, hey, I'd love to have you on a podcast. Hey, I'd love to get your perspective on this article. But if they don't find you, these things won't pop up. These opportunities won't happen. So get out there. It's uncomfortable, 100%. I know it's uncomfortable and I know you don't want to talk to people, but you can also post. If you're an introvert, you can also take pictures and post text. It doesn't have to be video. You can have polls. You can do carousels. You can have an email newsletter and never talk to a single soul. So if you're an introvert, you can still be successful on LinkedIn. It's all good. You don't have to talk to humans. You can just talk and then humans can watch. It's 100, whatever is comfortable for you. I guarantee you can do that on LinkedIn because you can. So don't go into LinkedIn saying, if I don't fit in this box, I don't fit on LinkedIn. Design what works for you. So if you love to talk and video's fun, do video. If you love to write text. If you like to take pictures and you're out all day and you're taking pictures of this, I used to be in marketing. I would like see a billboard and it said something. I was like, I don't even know what that means. So I would take a picture of it and it was like, post a picture of the billboard. What does this mean? Like you can do whatever works for you and you build up an audience and a community doing that. Don't do anything that feels like a struggle or makes you want to sweat, but do something like today. Or not today because it's late, like this weekend. Just think about it this weekend and be like, oh, that Bethany girl, she was funny. I guess I'll look at LinkedIn, like what's going on LinkedIn. Just spend time there. And I promise you that you can do better if you just get good. You don't have to be great. You just have to be consistent and you have to be good. You have to get good enough. And good enough is better than most people. I'm sure you don't have a cringe-worthy profile, Adrienne. God, jokes. You're funny. Yeah, you can use AI, Patty, to create the newsletter content and create your LinkedIn newsletter and create your everything, basically.
I guess what I meant was to recommend topics because sometimes I'm not sure what I want to talk about. Yeah,
So do you use AI?
I do.
Okay, so just use ChatGPT and turn on the microphone and tell them what you're good at and what you like to talk about. So sometimes what our gifts are is not our job and is
Yes.
not what we're doing. So talk about your gifts and what if nobody paid you and you could stay up all night talking about it. Talk about that and do a newsletter about that and talk about that if that's what you where you want to go or what you'd rather do more of. Because I guarantee people pay people to teach them all types of stuff. And if you're passionate about it and you love to do it, then energetically you're going to show up and you're going to be like, oh, I'm super excited because I get to talk about this. So you can put that in AI and say, I want to do a LinkedIn newsletter. This is what I love. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm really good at. This is what I like spending time doing. And then you can say, what are some newsletter topics that I could talk about? What's the theme that what should be the theme of the newsletter? And what are some of the topics that would do well on LinkedIn? And then it'll just give you stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much. I didn't think about turning on the microphone. That's the other touch. That's the
Yeah, just talk. Because
yeah,
then sometimes you got to type and you're just like,
yeah, thinking too much.
yeah, just talk. And there's no, like, you can ramble, it can be incohesive, and just let AI figure it out. And
That's
then just go back and forth until it's aligned with what you want to do. And then that's what it is. And if you change your mind, you change the newsletter name, you change the thumbnail, and you keep it going. The people that don't like it just won't watch it, and the people or won't read it or won't engage with it. And then the people that do, so you can change your newsletter name and you can change the description of what it is at any point. And 0 people are going to judge you. Half of them won't even notice. They won't.
I believe you. That's why I'm laughing. It's true.
It is. I don't know, Daedrian, do they get a replay of the call?
Yes, the replay will be sent via email within 24 hours.
Okay.
Thank you, Bethany.
You're welcome. I guess I should post my LinkedIn profile. I don't know where it is. Let me post mine. Tell y'all to post your LinkedIn profile. Okay, any questions? We gotta drop off because they are going to use this link for another call that's coming up. Yes, you'll get the replay. I'm going to upload the slides. If you gave me survey feedback, it'll be there. I have your email. If you didn't give me survey feedback, let me drop the link one more time before we have to hop off. And then the slides will be up there like literally 5 minutes after we drop off. So I'm going to upload it right now. So you have the slides. So if they're not up there now, I know I'm going to get them up there. I will download them and get them up there right now. So it's just an image. It's not really, Debbie, is there a way to post flyers on LinkedIn? It's just an image of the flyer, but you have to have words that go with everything. You have to have a hook at the top that will help them from stop scrolling. It's like your headline, whether you have an image, whether you have a poll, whether you have a video, whether you have a carousel, whether you have a newsletter. The hook is what's going to stop them from scrolling. You don't need to upgrade to premium, Annette, unless you are actively looking for a job or potentially trying to find decision makers on your own. Then premium can help with either of those things, just because you get more access to information and you can sort by name, you can sort by business, you can sort by company size, all those things. And you can sign up for a trial and just get all your stuff and then cancel it and not pay for it. You're welcome. Thank you, everyone. I think Daedrian has to close it. No, Sales Navigator is with premium. So you can't have one without the other. You don't get Sales Navigator unless you're premium. You're welcome. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for joining us, Bethany. Great presentation as usual. And I'm sure we all will be utilizing LinkedIn a lot more because of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Bye.
Bye.